Time to talk sport. Jared Coote is back with us. Now, jet lag might be impacting our Australian athletes heading over to Paris more than we might be thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Dr. Stephen Jesper, he's a lecturer at Torrens University, Australia, and he's done a thesis in jet lag and executive performance, and he told me that the long distance flights could cost Australians some medals in Paris.
Absolutely massive impact. My estimate is that flying far enough will slash your gold medal counts in half. And what will happen is that gold medals will turn into silver. So I actually wrote a paper tabling a whole lot of data since the 1960s. And I suspect this time around, Australia's going to get somewhere around 8 or 9 gold medals compared to 17 from Tokyo.
Right, well, that's not a good sign for the Australians.
No, I'm afraid not.
No, at all. How much of an impact, though, do you think this jet lag does, maybe in like percentage terms, in terms of lowering performance? Is it bringing them down by just that 1% that can be that gold to silver that you talk about for the Australians?
Not even 1%. It could be fractions of a percentage. But bear in mind, for a lot of Olympic events, the difference between gold and silver is measured in milliseconds. So they may not even feel off. You know, that they may not even feel quite at their less than best. But if you shaved, 10 milliseconds off your time, that could be enough to turn your gold medal into a silver one. So even with all of the preparation, it can still have an impact.
Right, you mentioned the preparation there, and no doubt the AOC and all the athletes are trying to take this into account. They've flown over to Paris normally a fair while before the actual events get underway. How long do you think this jet lag can last in having this minimal impact on the body?
I would say up to a week. It could even be a week and a half. The rule of thumb is 1 day for every time zone. Paris is it's 8 at the moment, but it's closer to 9 or 10 in terms of the sun. So a week and a half would be a good time, to get there ahead in terms of Paris.
All right, and taking that into account, I believe flight direction, of course, plays a part as well. What direction helps prevent jet lag, and in what direction have the Australians, given the way that they've flown to Paris, I guess your calculations say it's not the best, and the amount of time zones they're going through as well?
Well, for most people, east is a beast and west is best, for most people. Flying east is generally harder because you've got to go to bed early and wake up early when you're still tired. And Paris is west. For most of us, that's easier. But if you're a real morning person, it'll be harder because morning people are used to getting up early. They're not used to staying up late and sleeping in, which is what you need to do when you fly to Europe. So that has an impact as well. Your own chronotype, how your body clock works has an impact.
Right. Does the impact of jet lag vary depending on your body shape maybe, and on what sport you're competing in as well?
I suspect team sports might be affected more because if you've got one vulnerable member in your team who's affected, then the opposing team can target them. And also, it's easier to look after one person than it is to look after a team because you multiply the factor by 11 or over how many people you've got. So that has an impact as well. I haven't seen any impact on individual sports. I need to analyse that in a lot more detail. But I don't know which sports are affected more than others at this point.
All right, it takes some intense preparation to figure out who on the team's suffering more from jet lag when you target them, so that would be elite Olympic style preparation. Just finally, do you think athletes are taking jet lag seriously enough when preparing for these games?
I think some are and some aren't, and I think the sports culture has gotten hold of, jet lag does have an impact. What needs to happen is, getting out in sunlight is the best thing you can do to overcome jet lag. Getting out in the sun, getting the sun on your eyes, recalibrating your body clock. We've got a mechanism in our eyes that does that, and that goes to a major way to alleviating your jet lag.
Dr. Stephen Jesper there.